All right. How's that? Much better. Good Lord. There we go. Much better. Okay. So let's start over then, shall we? Since you didn't hear any of the things that I said for the past 5 minutes. Hi, how you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing today? I was doing great, but then I goofed up my microphone and had to start over. So let's look at something silly. I assume you heard the last one and I closed it already. So, as usual, Donald Trump doesn't know what anything means. He doesn't know what the words mean. He doesn't know what the phrases mean. He doesn't know what the economy is. He doesn't know what a business is. He doesn't know what the word profit means. He doesn't know what a word bribe means. He doesn't know any of these things. He is a type of parrot. I have seen him being compared to the demons from Freerun who don't really know what the words mean. They just say things. And then if they get a good result, they say the thing again. So here is Donald Trump being an absolute moron. Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as I said, eat the tariffs and not charge valued customers anything. I'll be watching, and so will your customers. This is incredibly crazy because it doesn't make any sense. If Donald Trump had some sort of ethics or values or plan, this would be the opposite of conservatism, right? This is the opposite of conservatism. This is so far fucking left that he's outflanking me now. Donald Trump is outflanking me from the left, and I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I think he is just a random word generator. And sometimes the random word generator will outflank me from the left. Trump says that Walmart shouldn't blame tariffs on high prices. Okay, so if you tax the corporations, which is what this is, a tariff is a tax. Donnie doesn't know that. Again, he will promise to cut their taxes, but hit them with giant tariffs, which are taxes. He can't do both. You can't cut their taxes and give them a giant tariff. It's the same thing, man. A tariff is a tax. So if Walmart and their CEOs and their profit margin are where they pay this tax, they will make less money. Now, a leftist would suggest we tax the CEOs and the investors and the private equity people on their profits. Tax the CEOs so that the customers don't have to pay the high prices. Will the CEOs try to raise prices to keep their level of profit? Yes. But we can tell them no. We will tell them, no, you're not allowed to raise your own profit so that you keep the same profit margin all the time, even though things that making things more expensive. You can toss the CEOs out if they try that. This, however, suggests a severe misunderstanding, ignorance, and stupidity about how the economy functions. He doesn't know how it works. He doesn't understand what tariffs are, what they do, what a profit margin is, or he doesn't get it. People, when he started suggesting tariffs, the economists around him started telling him people will raise prices. Walmart will raise prices by that much. If you give them a 10% tariff, they'll raise their prices by 10% so that they make the same profit they made last year. Because in our dumb, stupid system, if you don't make the same amount you made last year, you're going down. The investors abandon you. The private equity people start screaming about how awful you are, and they sell all your stock, and then your stock goes down. It's a whole thing. So you have to make more every year. How do you make more every year? Well, you skim something off the top. You screw your employees over somehow. You pay them less. You drop some sort of health coverage or something along those lines so that the profits go up. You fire lots and lots of employees. That makes your stock go up. That makes the investors happy. Investors are the parasites. Investors are the problem with our capitalism right now. Not the poor immigrants, not the poor people, not the takers at the bottom. It's the takers at the top that are the problem. The investors are the parasite class. Investors are the parasite class. They are. So when the important investors and CEOs don't get all the money that they had last year, and they want this year, they expect the same this year that they got last year, maybe more, they will raise the prices. Donnie doesn't know that. Donnie doesn't know. He's just that should be a bumper sticker. Donnie doesn't know. That's the bumper sticker. Donnie doesn't know. He just doesn't know. He has no idea what he's talking about. Where was I at? Okay, yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know that the tariffs are a tax. We just got yeah. Okay, close that. We got another robot in chat, but I had to close him off. Banned him again. What are we on about? So he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing, and everything's going to go poorly. Everything's going to go badly because he's just a moron who's flopping around, flailing left and right. Let's see, what other dumb shit has he done today? GOP lawyers warned their careers are in jeopardy after angering Trump. So the people in the House are not going to pass the one beautiful bill, the big beautiful bill. He hates the idea of passing like 7 or 8 legislations to cover 7 or 8 different situations. He wants one beautiful bill because he is a moron. His brain is mayonnaise, and he is a child. He doesn't comprehend the complications of the government. He doesn't know how the government works, Don. He doesn't know. House Republicans have not been able to cobble together a budget bill that they will send to the floor for a vote, and are being warned that by members of Donald Trump's inner circle that they will face his wrath in the coming weeks. According to the report from Political's Rachel Bade, the president is furious with the House Budget Committee for failing to reach an agreement on his big, beautiful bill, which will lead to a flurry of attacks from Trump on Truth Social as returned from his trip in the Middle East. As a reporter noted, Mike Johnson on the spot, pointing out this has been Johnson's problem to solve, and he and the other GOP leaders have tried to be sensitive to not pulling Trump in too early to fix their problems. They can't pass the bill because it sucks. The Republicans can't govern. They don't know what they're doing. They can't comprehend what's happening. The people each have their own little individual problems, and you have to wrangle that together. That's what the House Speaker of the House is supposed to do, but he can't because he doesn't know what those things are. He doesn't know where these things come from. They don't have actual policies because they make everything up. They are believers, not doers, not actioners. They believe and they talk and they feel. But then when you start writing things down, putting them on paper, it becomes real, and it becomes difficult because the side effects of cutting Medicaid, that's the big one right now, is their budget will destroy a lot of Medicaid. A lot of people, millions and millions of people, are going to be cut off from Medicaid, which means they don't get medical care. Medicaid, mostly, is for old people, babies, and poor people. That's like 90% of it. 10% is just anybody who falls outside those 3 categories. So cutting off some old people, and not the elderly, which are getting Medicare. No, there's Medicaid. These are the people who are just too young to get it. So your 50-year-olds who are just too young to get it, but they've got a disability. The disabled people and children who are poor, and some poor people. Those people will lose their access to Medicaid, which will lose their medical care. So they're going to get sick, they're going to die, they're going to cry, and then it'll be on the news because it'll be miserable. The news loves misery. So they'll watch it, and they'll see all these people. And the Republicans don't want to do that because that makes them not get votes next time. Elections might be over. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So yeah, this is why it won't pass. That's why the bill won't pass, because it's a bad bill. And if they broke it up into 7 little sections, they could get little bits of it passed and they could move forward. But Donnie is, again, a child who doesn't want 7 little bills. He wants one big, beautiful bill, which is far more difficult to get passed. My assumption is that Trump's going to get involved. I don't know what that will look like yet. The GOP aide said with the report adding Trump is not going to be happy that he has to twist the arms of his balking GOP lawmakers who are kept him from, Jesus Christ. Is this written by AI? Come on. As one Trump insider put it, voters gave them a once-in-a-generation opportunity to pass a good bill, and for those who vote against, they should know their careers are in jeopardy, because you're either on his side or you are the enemy, because he's an authoritarian dictator. You know, you either do everything he says or you're harmed. So if you are in the House and you vote against this big, beautiful bill, he will harm you. You know, like he does. That is how he does deals. When he says deal, every time he says deal, he means extortion. You vote for this bill, or I pay for or Elon will run somebody against you in your primary and talk about how you didn't vote for this one big, beautiful bill. Do what Donald Trump says, or he will use his power, his authority, his government to harm you. That's what deals mean. That's what's happening with the tariffs. Either you give him a big old kiss on the ass, or he will harm your economy. That's it. That's what the deal is. You get in line, you kiss his ass, you give him some money, you give him a plane, you give him something of value, you let him and an American company come into your country and take your natural resources, or he will harm you. That's the game that you live in now. That's geopolitics now. It used to be a little bit more complicated than that, but that's where we are. Give Donnie something, or he will harm you. Give Donnie what he wants, or he will hurt you. Used to be called extortion, but not anymore. That's just deals. The Supreme Court rules against Trump administration in Alien Enemies Act case, so that's good. The Supreme Court granted a request by Venezuelan nationals seeking to block their removal from the United States under the Alien Enemies Act. President Donald Trump said in court, "Won't allow us to get criminals out of our country." Again, he doesn't know what that means. He doesn't know what a Supreme Court, he barely comprehends what the Supreme Court is. He doesn't know what the law means. He doesn't know what the Alien Enemies Act is. He just not likes the sound of it. Alien Enemies Act. Sounds tough. Sounds like a big, important law. So Donnie loves it. He doesn't know what it means. He doesn't know what it says. He doesn't know what's written in it. He doesn't know why you should use it and why you shouldn't. But it sounds cool. Rule of cool is all he has. That's the only thing he can do is make it sound cool, make it sound tough, make it sound badass. The Patriot Act. He doesn't know what it says. He just knows he loves it. So Alien Enemies Act is not going to be upheld, which is what a smart lawyer could have told him a year ago when he started bragging about it, when he started pushing it on the campaign trail 2 damn years ago. People said, hey, you can't do that. That's not how the law works. The Supreme Court is going to shut that down. And now they have. The thing about the law is that we can all read it. It might be complicated. It might be difficult to understand. It might be nerd shit in a very dusty tome written in a book, but it exists. And you can look at it ahead of time to determine what you should do. It's almost like the rules of Monopoly. Like, you can read the rule book for Monopoly, and you can know what happens when you land on the go to jail square. Like, you know what happens ahead of time. You don't have to be surprised by this. Donnie is constantly surprised by the law coming out against him. But if he had actual lawyers, if he had actual intelligent people advising him, they could look ahead. He could say, I want to do the Alien Enemies Act. And then the lawyers would look at it, read it, comprehend it, and say, no, that's not going to work. The Supreme Court's going to shoot that down. That's what should happen. That's how the government ought to operate. But it doesn't, because Donnie's an idiot. Donnie doesn't know. So, and then the people around him don't know either. He doesn't hire actual competent people who know what they're doing. He hires lickspittle loyalists who kiss his ass and tell him, yes, brilliant, Donnie. Yes, Mr. Trump. That is a brilliant idea. The Supreme Court is in error. Of course, they are an invading army. No, Cake, that's stupid. You're stupid. Even though it's not clear to the public. It is clear to the public. You're imagining things, Cake. Gangs are organized. No, they're not. And these gangs are an invasion of the country. No, it's not. You have been sold a bill of goods from your media to make you afraid, Mr. or Mrs. Cake. I'm going to assume Mr. since there are no girls on the internet. Mr. Cake, you have been lied to. The right-wing media has tricked you. They have pressed upon the fear centers within your brain. They have manufactured a narrative. They've sold it to you, and it makes you feel afraid. It makes you feel angry. It makes you feel like something is being taken from you. These foreigners have come to your shores and they are taking from you. They are taking your jobs. They are taking your unemployment benefits. They are taking your Social Security. They are taking from you, and you're not going to stand for it. It's nonsense. Poor people are not harming your economy. I haven't sold anything. I live in Los Angeles in a gang neighborhood. Okay, you live in Los Angeles where there are some gangs. Where they aren't taking, they're not invading. They're not an invasion force. They're not an army. They're not organized. They're not being funded by the Venezuelan president. That's insane. They've tricked you. I'm not saying you live in a pleasant place. Los Angeles is a rough place, has some rough neighborhoods, but it has a lot of really nice places too. If you are stuck there and want to leave, that's a capitalism problem. That's a problem. That's a flaw within our capitalist system. These people in the gangs can't get better jobs. They can't. If you are born in the roughest of neighborhoods, well, imagine the roughest place in Los Angeles, the most poor, the most gang-ridden, they're self-funded by selling drugs. Yeah, exactly. And why are they selling drugs? Because they can't get a good job doing something legal. That is a flaw of capitalism. They're selling the drugs because that makes them more profit than minimum wage. Sounds like a flaw within capitalism to me. Sounds like a failure of our capitalist system to take care of people. The capitalist system is failing them, and then they go outside the capitalist system, and it's failing you. This needs to be solved by government spending, by taxing the rich, using that to pay workers more. If they got more money working at McDonald's than they did selling drugs, more of them would work at McDonald's. But they don't. Selling drugs is a better deal for them. Is it illegal? Yes. Is it dangerous? Yes. Is it more fun than working at McDonald's? Yeah, probably. But if there is no recourse, if there's no way they can get a good job, if there's no way they can get ahead, if there's no way they can struggle to get out of this shit system they've been born into, why would they participate? If the system says you're bound to live in poverty because of the place you're born, why would you follow the law? Why would you? So they have tricked you. What was I talking about before I got distracted? Yeah, the Alien Enemies Act. The Alien Enemies Act is for invading armies, not gangs, not Venezuelan gangs. No. And the Supreme Court agrees with me. And the Supreme Court disagrees with you, Cake. I'm sorry, but they do. And I think that's because they have the law on their side. Donnie often loses when it comes to the courts. He loses in court constantly. MS-13 is a gang while KKK is just a group. What a country. I know, right? They're just a bunch of lone wolves, those KKKs. They're lone wolves, what you see is. Those are lone wolves who are not representative of anybody that's in the government. It's not important. And they're not and they're born here, so it's okay. And they're white, so it's okay. The Alien Enemies Act is for invading armies, not gangs. The gangs are a product of capitalism running amok. And the Supreme Court is coming out against Donnie because he loses in court. That's what I was saying. That's where I was going. He loses in court often because he doesn't know what the law is. He doesn't listen. He doesn't have people intelligently telling him what the laws ought to be, what the rules are. The rules are knowable ahead of time. That's the great thing about the law. You can look at it. You can get somebody to give you an opinion and tell you what is and isn't legal. And you can make your drive your life based on that. But Donnie doesn't do that. He just flops around, does whatever he wants, and then says he's allowed to because he doesn't know what any of this stuff means. The court barred the removal of the men who Trump administration alleges are members of Trenderagua, pending a new decision from a lower court. The justices did not rule on whether the Alien Enemies Act, which is the Trump administration invoked in mid-April to deport the detainees, has been applied correctly because they're wieners. Because the conservatives on the court know it doesn't apply. They just don't want to say it. The conservatives on the Supreme Court really, really, really want Donnie to become the dictator. They would love for him to become an authoritarian dictator. They want that so bad. But he has to follow these rules. And so they're trying their best to excuse him from the rules. That's why they made him immune to all prosecution. That's not going to fly for any Democrat. They'll undo that fucking rule the minute a Democrat wins again. And then they will, they're saying that he isn't, they're not sure, okay, if it's the Alien Enemies Act, because they want it to be true. They want conservatism to be true because they are biased on the Supreme Court. We all know they are. Hell, what's his name? Takes bribes left and right. We live in a capitalist hellscape where the Supreme Court member, what was his name? Fucking God. He's the old black guy. Shit, I forgot his name. Because I'm a terrible streamer. But he just takes bribes. Rich people give him money, and then he decides what's best for them. That's where we live now. Money is power. Power gets you more money gets you more votes get you more power gets you more money, forever and ever spiraling upward. Here we go. Bam. On this same subject, a direct rebuke of the Trump administration's practice of shoving people into planes. Under these circumstances, notice roughly 24 hours before removal, devoid of information about how to exercise due process rights, to contest that removal surely does not pass muster. The Supreme Court holds that Trump administration violated the due process rights of Venezuelan migrants last month in its rushed effort to expel them to El Salvador. So the Supreme Court says they did violate their rights. Alito and Thomas, that's his name. Justice Thomas. Of course, Alito and Thomas dissent because they don't care about the law. Clarence Thomas does not care about the law. He doesn't care what it says. He doesn't care what it means. He will decide based on whoever pays him the most. He doesn't know what the words are. He doesn't care what the words are. He will bend over backwards to reinterpret the definition of all the words. All the words will get new definitions by Clarence Thomas if it gets him paid. We no longer live in a representative government. Our government is now of the money, for the money, by the money. That's all that matters anymore. And if you need more money, find a government a company to pay you. The Supreme Court still has a few people that are like struggling to hold it together, and they're really close to failing. Our entire country is very, very, very close to to breaking down entirely. The Supreme Court only has 3 people on it who really care about what the definitions of the words are. The other 6, the 3 of them really, Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh, really wanted right-wing dictator, because then they will get more power and more money and more authority, and they'll be able to do more stuff that they want. And they'll pass and force all of these conservative actions on you. They'll force conservative laws on you. You won't be able to do a damn thing about it. What are you going to do? Write to your congressman? They don't do anything. Write to your senator? They're all paid off too. So those 3 really want right-wing dictators. The other 3 conservatives want conservatism, but they want it to follow the rules. They're playing Monopoly. So I guess we could use that as an analogy. The 3 people, Kavanaugh, Alito, and Thomas, they're just breaking all the rules of Monopoly. They roll a 7 and they move 9. You know, they land on the thing and they don't pay you. They land on your stuff and they want more money from you. Because they have the power and the authority, they'll just say, "Give me money, and I won't do this thing." So they're on the take, Thomas especially. The other 3 conservatives want Donnie to win, but they want him to win via the rules. Okay, they want him to roll a 6 and land on Boardwalk so that he can win. They want him to roll on a 6 so that he can land there and then get the things that he wants so that he can win. And they're willing to say, hey, I mean, it kind of looks like a 6, right? He got a 6 earlier, so maybe he can have a 6 now. They're trying to make him win via the rules. And then the 3 liberal justices read the definitions, tell you what the definition means. That's it. That is the issue I have with conservatives. They don't know what the words mean. They don't know they don't attach definitions to words. They attach feelings to words. Here's a guy doing it right now. Sorry to call you out, Cake, but you're the conservative for today. Gangs are organized. These gangs are an invasion of our country. You don't know what the word invasion means, so you've attached a feeling to it. And you will use those feelings to justify the actions that you feel we should take. That is conservatism. That is republicanism. Feelings. All day, every day. And they will tell you the exact opposite. They will tell you they're the ones cutting taxes when Donnie is raising taxes on Walmart. They will tell you that a tariff isn't a tax when the definition says that it is. They will tell you that they don't base their things on feelings when they clearly do. They will tell you that the left is the evil ones when they're the ones doing the evil. They're the opposite of all the things that they say and do. It's just the opposite. So let's look at some more of that. Trump administration working on plans to move 1 million Palestinians to Libya. This is a big change. Details are murky and no final agreement has been reached, but the plan is under serious enough consideration that the administration has discussed it with the Libyan leadership. Rawl, while Trump was working at McDonald's, Kamala was doing Five Guys. That crass base sexism. Do better. Be better. Not even funny. But I mean, you can do better than that. Come on. What are we talking about? Trump administration working on plans to move 1 million Palestinians to Libya. Libya, this is ethnic cleansing. It is ethnic cleansing. All the people of a specific ethnicity need to leave the soil of Palestine because a different ethnicity of Jewish descent wants that soil. The blood of one group is more important than the blood of another group, and they want the soil. Blood and soil. Kamala has dropped more boxers than Mike Tyson. Are you seeing the same people that I see? You're just mad that she's a girl. You just don't like women, Rawl. You just don't like them. And so when she's in charge of you, this breaks your brain. You, as a man, think that you're more important than all the women in the world. You think that you're on top of them. You know, I know your type. So when it's possible that a woman would be your boss, it hurts your psyche. It hurts your brain. It hurts your masculinity. You can't possibly be told what to do by a lady. She probably doing Five Guys and dropping boxers. You can't allow that. So you strike out. So you lash out in petty, childish ways. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for telling us who you are, Raul. Havana. We're over here having complicated, difficult ethnic cleansing discussions, and you're hitting us with internet banality, lame sexist jokes, mediocre sexism. Say something intelligent about the people of Palestine. Tell us about ethnic cleansing. This is a high IQ stream. You're dragging us down by averages. I mean, specifically, like, well, the average IQ was here, and then Raul jumped into chat and he brought us all down. I'm sorry. That's what happens when you're on the internet, though. Ethnic cleansing, not a good thing, not a good plan. I don't like it. If blood and soil is a problem, if your argument is based on blood and soil, you're doing a fascism. That's what fascism is. Fascism is a complicated and difficult ideology to like really wrestle with, but I think it can be boiled down to those two words: blood, soil. If those are your talking points, if that is the end you are approaching, you're doing a fascism. The Nazis were specifically a blood and soil fascist regime. They said, this is the blood, the Aryan blood, this is what we want, this is where we are, this is who we are the best, we are the Aryans, we are the greatest, and this is the soil that we get to have. And so they started taking other things from other people. There's a little bit of that going on with Russia right now into Ukraine. They said that the people in eastern Ukraine are of Russian blood, and so we will take their soil. A little bit of fascism going on there. When you talk about the fascists within the United States government, the Stephen Miller's a Nazi, and he is doing a fascism. The blood that does not belong here needs to leave. That is why they are kicking these immigrants out. They're not the right blood for this soil. He's doing a fascism. And you can always bring fascism back to that. So that is that's why I do call people fascists when it happens. Are they doing blood and soil? Then they're a fascist. That's the definition that I'm giving you. But I like definitions, and conservatives don't. So moving 1 million Palestinians to Libya means removing them from the land that they live on. The soil that they live on has been bombed to shit by a different ethnicity, and they need to leave because that other ethnicity wants their land. And at this point, I'm not happy about it, but this is actually kind of similar to Waldo's plan. I'm not happy about it, but I think that the only way for these people to live is to disperse them among the world, not into one big fucking ghetto. That's stupid. But I think that this is what we're going to get. Donald Trump is a moron who doesn't know what he's doing, and he doesn't know what any of these things mean. The Trump administration is working on a plan to permanently relocate up to 1 million Palestinians from the Gaza Strip to Libya. 5 people with knowledge of the efforts told NBC News. The plan is under serious enough consideration that the administration has discussed it with Libya's leadership. 2 people with direct knowledge of the plan, and former U.S. officials said. In exchange for the resettling of Palestinians, the administration would potentially release to Libya billions of dollars of funds that the U.S. froze more than a decade ago, those 3 people said. No final argument has been reached, and Israel has been kept informed of the administration's discussions for the same 3 sources. Okay, so I think we could do a better job. What will happen if this goes through? Let's look at what happens, what would happen, and then come up with our own better plan, the Waldo plan. Those million people are poor, uneducated, starving, and sick because they live, well, I mean, they fucking live here, don't they? They live in bombed out ruins. This is where the million people live, in a bombed out, destroyed place. They are uneducated because they can't go to school. The school will just get bombed, and Israel will say it was a Hamas training ground. They can't go to a hospital because Israel bombed the hospitals, saying that they're Hamas hospitals. They can't save up food. They can't work because Israel has bombed the workplace and said that's a Hamas workplace. They can't get anything. So Donald Trump says, take them away. All of them, round them all up, throw them somewhere else. Libya. And we can pay Libya, kind of. We can give them the money that we stole. So America stole a bunch of money from Libya. I mean, we stole it, and there's a good reason for it. If Libya was using that money to pay for terrorists who are killing people, steal that money. I'm on board. I'm not against it. Be honest about it. Look into the camera and say, hey, Libya, you are using this money to pay terrorists. I'm stealing it. Like, be ballsy about it. Don't be half-assed about it. Democrats can't be ballsy, though. So we have to say the nice things. Donald Trump will just release them that money. Take these people, release the money. Now, best case scenario, and I mean best fucking case, which means it's not going to happen. Libya puts them in a place, uses that money to feed them and educate them and make them into human citizens of Libya. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They'll throw them in a shithole, ignore them, keep the money. That's most likely. That's most likely what's going to happen. Libya will take them, put them in the shittiest part of the world, ignore them, and keep the money. That's more likely. Will they be allowed to leave? Maybe. Libya might just shoot them as they cross the border of their new little encampment. Possibly, and it could even get worse. They just intentionally slaughter them. Libya puts them all in one place, poisons them, shoots them as they leave, and keeps all the money, and then they all die. That's worst case scenario, I suppose. The million people come over, we finally get them over, we truck them on over, and then they just shoot them on the way out of the truck and keep all the money. Bury them in the desert, and no one notices. And then the Americans will go on with their lives as if nothing ever happened. The conservatives will tell you that Donald Trump saved 1 million lives, and then I will find out that 1 million people died, and I'll tell you, hey, Donnie, you moved them over there, and they all got murdered. And the conservatives won't care. They won't notice. They'll say he saved 1 million lives, and it's Libya's fault. And somehow Joe Biden killed them. Joe Biden specifically, individually, killed all these 1 million people in Libya. He flew to Libya with Hillary, and they murdered them all to save $1 and harvest their adrenochrome. That's worst case scenario. What would I suggest? I've made this plan before, but if you're new, if you hadn't heard this plan before, here's the Waldo plan to make this shit fixed. Step 1, American troop transports roll in to Palestine. Take anybody that wants to leave. Ask them, tell them, listen, you cannot live here anymore. It's bombed out. Israel is coming to murder you. Do you want to live somewhere else? And if they say yes, you load them onto the troop transport and you take them to another country. Not all in one big stupid ghetto. That's dumb. That will create the same problem again and again. Disperse them. Send 1,000 to Australia. Send 1,000 to England. Send 1,000 to Canada. Send 1,000 to Alabama. Send 1,000 over to China. Send 1,000, and anybody who takes them gets paid by America to take care of them and make them into citizens of that new country. Will Hamas get on board with that? Some of the young ones, I think they would. They're only fighting because these people are murdering them. They see a better way, just like we were talking about with the gangs here. They don't have another choice. If they see a better choice, they may take it and abandon being part of Hamas. Will the really hardline Hamas fighters stick around? Yes, they will. Will the really hard religious people stick around. Yes, they will. Sad to say that, but I think that they will. Their belief outweighs reason. Their belief is so strong that they will abandon reason, they will abandon reality to hold their belief. Belief is a problem. It's why I keep saying it. It's why I talk about it all the damn time on this damn stream. Belief is a problem. Stop having beliefs. So what would happen to the people who are left there? So step one, we roll in, we take all the people who want to be taken, we resettle them somewhere else, we pay those countries with the money that we were giving to Israel. Cut ties. Stop giving them weapons. Stop giving them money. You're a neutral country to us now. You are no longer our ally. Don't go and murder them all. I don't want you to go and murder them. I don't want you to go and kill all the people that are left behind. That would be a bad thing, but we're not having anything to do with this anymore. We wipe our hands clean of it, and if Hamas starts bombing Israel, we don't care. If Israel starts bombing Hamas, we don't care. We abandon them. Let them figure it out themselves. Let them come to their own things, and we do not support Israel anymore. And then, if Israel kills them all and then gets into a war with Iran, that's not our business either. We're not selling money to either sides. They want to get meet women assimilate into modern society and not be so extreme. Exactly. That is what those 16-year-olds in Palestine who are joining Hamas want. They want to live and not in a prison, not in a giant concentration camp where they get to be murdered at any given moment by Israelis. They want to be humans, and they're not right now. If we give them an opportunity to assimilate into a different culture, I think they would. They would see that as a better choice. They would see that as a better option than staying and dying. Some of them might, out of feelings. I mean, and that is a feeling, isn't it? The Israelis killed your father, and you feel so angry about that you will go and kill Israelis. And then that Israeli gets killed. His son feels so angry at Hamas for killing his father that he has to go out and kill Hamas. This is all based on feelings. Entirely. 100% feelings-based war right here. Most wars are feelings-based. All politics are based on feelings. All of them. Left, right, and center. Hamas's politics based on feelings. Israel's politics based on feelings. Donald Trump's politics based on feelings. Waldo's politics based on feelings. I am the only person, I guess, I don't know if anybody else has ever said it, that is willing to tell you that. I feel like humans should have freedom. There's no math to prove that. There's no axiom that makes that true. There is no law of thermodynamics that says humans should be free. But I feel like they should. And so I build all of my politics off of that feeling. And I'm willing to tell you that. Nobody else is willing to say that. No other person on the fucking internet that I've seen anyway is willing to tell you that they're based on feelings. They have the feelings and they tuck that down. They keep that secret. The conservatives especially, they don't let you know what their feelings are. They find a fact to justify the feeling. They find a fact that the gangs are organized and they're invading our country to justify the feeling of kicking them out. They want the people who are different. They are they feel xenophobic. And so they find a fact later to justify the xenophobia. They're coming into our country. They're selling fentanyl. And I could die any minute from a fentanyl overdose because they're lacing the car handles with it. They're giving away free fentanyl. It's not how drug dealers work. They don't give away free stuff. They're giving away free fentanyl and children are dying. And so I feel like we need to kick all of the immigrants out. That's a feeling, not a fact. They're using the facts after the fact. They're using the facts to justify the feelings post feelings. Anyway, so yeah, that's the Waldo plan for fixing this whole system. Will it have problems? Yeah. Will the people who get sent to Australia, let's imagine 1,000 Palestinians get sent across Australia, not into one ghetto. I don't want to put them in one spot. I want to disperse them through a community and mix the melting pot's got to get stirred every now and then. So we send them over there. Will they be shooting rockets into Jerusalem from Australia? No, they won't. Will they be getting bombed by Israel in Australia? No, they won't. Will they be running around finding random Jewish people to attack and harass? I don't think so. It's possible. If they do, local law enforcement will take care of that. The problem fixes itself. Separate them, man. This works for children. When you got 2 or 3 kids that keep getting into a fight, you separate them. You put them in different places. And that would be the same. The 1,000 that go to England probably wouldn't be assaulting random Jews, and they wouldn't be firing rockets, and they wouldn't be building secret bombs. They wouldn't be digging tunnels to hide from the Jerusalem bombs. Separate them. Is that against their religion? Maybe, but I don't respect their religion or the Jewish religion. I don't respect any religion. It's all imaginary. So make them. What good is your religion if you're dead? You can't feel good about your religion if you're dead. So carry it into the future. Tell your children, go to another country and then tell them, here's what happened. Here's the bad things that happened. Carry on alive. You can't carry on if you're dead. So what are we doing? What else is in there? If you're paying attention, you're watching, hop into the chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. If you're in Twitch chat, the robot will read it out loud. So there's a robot. The robot's still here. Hop into Twitch. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you're feeling. If you're going over to the YouTube page, you can watch old videos. That's where I put all my videos. I take all of these streams, I chop them down in a little bit, turn them into YouTube videos so that the algorithm will get them out there. If you're on YouTube, break the thumbs up button, break the thumb, break it, smash the subscribe button, crack the bell, and then spread some hate in the YouTube algorithm, in the comments, because the YouTube algorithm is fed by hate. Raul has increased my numbers. He doesn't know it, but he's doing me a favor, even with his sexism here. The YouTube algorithm is powered by hatred. So if you just go there and spread some hate, it doesn't have to be at me. It doesn't have to be at Raul. It doesn't have to be at any specific person. Just spread some hate about something. You can go there and hate Star Wars if you want to. You can go there and hate Marvel. And then the algorithm will be like, oh, hate. Let's spread that around. Then they spread it around. YouTube's algorithm is based on hate, and we all know it. Let's get on to the next story. What is happening? I think this is more about the money. Oh, look. Here we go. Jeff Bezos. The Khashoggi compromise. Jeff Bezos once mourned Jamal Khashoggi in public. Now the Amazon billionaire is making billion-dollar deals with his executioner, which reveals more about his values than any vigil ever could. So Jamal Khashoggi was shit-talking the Saudi royal family. He investigated the crimes that they committed, and because he did that, they probably killed him, chopped him up in little bits, and dragged him out one piece at a time from the place he was living. He was an employee of Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is now making deals with the Saudi family because that's all that matters. Money, 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 money. SpongeBob, my boy, it's all about the money, 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 money. And that's what Jeff Bezos is doing here. He knows Saudi family has lots of money, and they could give it to him. They can, if they've got murder journalist kind of money, they could give some to Jeff Bezos. He's not a principled guy. He just wants money. He doesn't give a damn that this guy, MBS, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, killed a journalist. He doesn't care. That's money. The journalist was getting in the way of making money anyway. Money is all that matters. We have taken a turn over the past few months. It's been a slow turn over the past decade or so, ever since Citizens United. But we're ramping up. We're speeding up. We're going down. We were going down a hill, and we're picking up speed. You know how roller coaster kind of a thing. We're going down, but we're about to pick up some real speed now as the people in charge of our world don't give a damn about anything except their own wealth. Doesn't matter who they have to get in bed with. Doesn't matter who they have to talk to. Doesn't matter if they have to be friends with the head of Saudi Arabia. It doesn't matter what the law says, what the rules are, what the press says. The press is here saying, hey, this guy's taking money from a guy who's probably a murderer. Fashion Killer, hi, thanks for coming. What's happening? We're complaining about the capitalism and its end state. I know, I hadn't seen you in a while. That's okay. That's how things go. Yeah. I know you are not a fan of the sideburns, but I think that they're lovely. They're gorgeous. I know that you have suggested that I get rid of them, but they're mine and I love them. I've been feeding them pure beef blood. Where are we? We're complaining about capitalism. Yeah, capitalism is going to fall. It's going to get to its end state, which is all power going up to one specific person until they do something so egregious that the entire systems fall apart. And I think that's where we're headed. I think we are at systemic levels of failure in the next few months and then over the next year, because we're speeding up. We're really picking up speed. We're accelerating dangerously. And it doesn't matter about the hypocrisy. Here, let's look at some hypocrisy that won't make any kind of difference at all. Now, is that wrong button? I swung and I missed. Is that hypocritical? Yeah, that doesn't matter. Conservatives don't care about hypocrisy. Man, you can point out their hypocrisy all damn day and they won't care. Donnie here is complaining about Hillary taking money from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and he just took a $400 million jet from Qatar. Now, is that hypocritical? Yes. He doesn't care. Conservatives don't care. They don't give a flying fuck. They don't give a damn about hypocrisy. They don't care if Donnie said that last time. He was right then, and he's right now. He was right to criticize Hillary for taking their money, and he is right to take money. They have no guidelines. They have no ethics. They have no values. Conservatives have no values. They have a will to power. Are you doing a thing that gets you more power? Good job, keep it up. Are you doing a thing that loses you power? Bad job, quit it. That's it. Are you lying to the people to get more power? Yes, good. Are you lying about Hillary to get more power? Yes, good, keep it up. Are you taking from someone that you said Hillary shouldn't take from? Yes, but it gets you more power? Good, do it. They don't have values. They don't have ethics. They don't have morals. They don't know what those words mean. They don't know what values are. They don't know what morals are. They don't know what the words mean. Donnie doesn't know what these words mean. You will get some of the pundit types, your Ben Shapiro's, your Matt Walsh's. They tell you that they have morals and values. They're lying. They know what those words mean, and they craft upside down, topsy-turvy, spinning, backward backflip arguments to make it seem like they are moral while doing the immoral things that they want to do. They will claim that Donald is saving the world from the evil child endangering liberals, the abortionists, the baby eaters, the people who drink adrenochrome. Hillary's a pot-bellied atheist who drinks adrenochrome. She drinks baby's blood. And so it's okay to be a little bit hypocritical in stopping her. It's okay to abandon all of your values that you said you had last week to fight the literal devil, which is Hillary Clinton, which is the liberals. They are the literal devil. So if you get a little dirty fighting the literal devil, it's okay. And it washes out in the end. It balances out. They don't actually have values. They don't have ethics. They don't have any of these things. So pointing out the hypocrisy doesn't work. This is a failure of the liberals and the left most of the time. The person who found this clip and posted it feels better. Kristen Reed, right there. Kind of. If two wrongs get them more power, they'll do two wrongs. If four wrongs get Donnie more power, that's what he'll do. If one right and one wrong gets him more power, that's what he'll do. It doesn't matter. Well, the answer is, does it benefit me? Does it get me more power? That's what we'll do. The person right here who posted this, it was Kristen Reed. You're not a problem. I like you. Good job. Thank you for showing this to me. We should all follow her. But this is a problem the left and the liberals have. They care about that hypocrisy. If pointed out, they will defend the thing that they did that was hypocritical, and they will tell you why it's okay. And if it's not okay, they will quit doing it. You can actually shame liberals into backing down. You can shame the left into changing their minds. You can't do that to the right. They don't care. They are shameless. They don't give a shit. So yeah, this happens on the left. Nancy Pelosi chased out a woman named Katie Hill, I want to say. What's her name? She was a young Democrat, left-leaning type. She won an election to be in the House of Representatives. Very exciting. On the night she won, she went and got drunk, had a bunch of weed, which was legal, then had sex with her husband and one of her aides who helped her get elected. They had a big old sexy threesome, and then the husband took a bunch of sexy photos. When this came out, Nancy made her resign because it's embarrassing, because we can't have people being the center of attention. Man, that's the exact opposite of what the Republicans do. They would say that it's a distraction, but then they would not kick that person out. That would be a loss of power. Republicans want all the real power, and Democrats, Nancy Pelosi types, want all the moral power. But that moral power doesn't have any effect. Nobody's voting for you, Nancy, because you kicked out the hot young girl who had nude photos. Nobody's voting for you because of that. Most people don't even remember it happened. We kicked out Al Franken because he did a silly photo 10 years before he was a senator. He did a honka kind of photo. He there was a lady in the background, and then he went honka while he was on tour somewhere in Iraq or some stupid shit. And that was 10 years before he was a senator. And so they had to kick him out. They were like, hey, you've got to go. You made a mistake. You have to go. While on the other hand, conservatives will just commit crimes and then cover for each other and then tell you that the crime never happened. They'll tell you that it's fine and that he's a changed man, that he's a Christian now. The Republicans have this shamelessness and drive to power that the Dems don't have. This is why they lose. But it's also, I think, what they want. The Dems in charge, the Schumers and the Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi, they want to be in second place. They love it. They don't have to do anything. They can write their books. They can go on book tours. They don't have to put together the bills. They don't have to push anything. They don't have to whip the votes. They want to be in second place so that they can do all of the fun stuff. They get the authority. They get the TV time. They get to go on the camera and complain, but they don't have to do any of the work. The workload of the minority party is so much less than the majority party. They know it and they love it. They like not doing all the work. They like all the perks. They like the money. They like the insider trading. They like writing books and going on a book tour. And they get to go on The View, and they get to go on all the news and say, hey, look at my new book. Buy my book. Oh, yeah, Republicans bad. That's what they want. They want to be live streamers. They want to go onto a camera and tell you how they feel. They could, and they should, on Twitch and on YouTube, not in the House of Representatives, you sons of bitches. Do something. Fix a problem. If they don't want to do that, that requires effort, and effort is hard. But I'm ranting about things that I rant about all the time. You're here. Shit, I hit the wrong button again. You're here for all the fun stuff. What's the fun stuff? Let's get to the thing that's in the title, Waldo. Stop faffing about. Stop edging us. Stop getting everybody excited. Shellgate. Dun, dun, dun. Shellgate. 8647. It's exciting. It's the latest thing. What does 8647 really mean? Let's listen to this guy tell us about the nightmare of 8647. You guys aren't hearing that, are you? Why isn't that coming through? It did? Yeah, she's doing the opposite. Yeah, you can't hear it. Wonder why. You hear the volume there. Desktop audio. Let's go to the properties. Let's go there. And let's say here. No. Okay, let's do this. Audio is always the worst.
So do you think Comey himself arranged the seashells to read 8647? You know, it's not even beach season. Who just happens to come along seashells on a beach arranged in that formation?
Oh my God, you guys, it's a conspiracy. James Comey showed us a photo of seashells in the shape of the letters 8647. Now, this is a secret code that means murder Donald Trump. That's what this secret code means, everybody. Everybody knows it. Here we can see the original photo right here of him posting 8647. Now, this is the photo he took. Somebody put those on the shells, on the beach. Now, did he do this himself? This is a very important question. If James Comey put these shells there on purpose, as this Fox News contributor is telling us, then that means he is telling you, calling on you to murder the president. That's not what that means, guys. That he's specifically calling for it. Unless, of course, that's a common thing that we all know and is stupid. Now, this is incredibly stupid because look over here. MAGA is saying 8646. Joe Biden was the 46th president. So you can buy that shirt. Still on sale today. All these MAGA shops that made 8646 shirts, hats, and stickers that they want to kill Joe Biden. No, that's not even what the word 86 means. 86 just means get rid of, throw it out. So it's real dumb. But let's hear what the very important, very well paid people at Fox News, and they're so much richer than you. It's not even. I'm not even kidding. These people on the screen have so much more than you, and they're so stupid.
He said, "quote This was cool, a political message. What's so cool about random numbers on a beach, unless you know what they mean? Plus, Comey has done beach messages before. Let's show the one he posted to Instagram saying vote for Kamala Harris. So do you think Comey himself did this?
Look at that evil message that he left there. Folks, this is a message. This is some sort of secret hidden code. Him telling you who to vote for is completely illegal. You're not allowed to tell people who to vote for or suggest that someone should vote for one person or the other. Vote for Trump, though. The secret beach messages.
I do, or he had someone do it for him. And this is the way these people operate. Their arrogance is beyond belief. They're allowed to get by with this because we allow them. As I said on my X account at Tim Burchett, arrest Comey. He needs to be arrested. there can't be two sides to this law. How many times have we heard the left say that there's not two sides to the law, just one? And you can see it over and over and over again. And this is just another incident where they're being quiet because it's President Trump. They hate Trump. That is all they have, is to hate Trump.
Arrest him for what? Again, that man does not know what the words mean. He doesn't know what the law is. He doesn't comprehend any of the nuances of the law. He doesn't know what the rules say. He doesn't know what they mean. It makes him feel bad. Arrest them. You made him feel bad. You go to jail. Is that against the law, making him feel bad? No. Is posting that photo illegal? No. He doesn't care. He doesn't know what the word illegal means. Illegal means things he doesn't like. He doesn't like it. That makes it illegal. You're not allowed to put those numbers in that order.
8.
Stupid robot.
ETH647.
If I could type, I would be a fucking nightmare. You guys know that, right?
$8647.
You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to put those numbers in that order, or else you are committing a crime, according to this man who decides your laws. Wrong guy. According to this man who decides your laws. This guy is a representative. He decides laws. And he said those numbers in that order are a crime. He doesn't know what crimes are. He doesn't know what the words mean. He doesn't know what 8-6 means. He would never have said this. Nobody on the left would say that. Why are we run, operated, and the laws are enforced by the stupidest among us? Honestly, that guy isn't being political. He's being stupid. Why did we let all the idiots take in charge? I don't get it. I don't comprehend how he gets to where he is. I don't know how you listen to him and think he's intelligent and then vote for him. I don't get it. He's a moron. The things he's saying are very, 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 very stupid. Are the voters even stupider than him? I don't know. Maybe they are. We need to educate people. People need to know what's going on, and they can't get educated because this guy fucking cuts taxes and cuts the funding to schools because he likes stupid people. He likes stupid people. He wants you and your children to be stupider. Tim Burchett wants you to be dumber than you are already. And he wants your children to be dumber than you so that he can keep being in power. And he's not smart enough to do it well. He's not even intelligent enough to pull off a coup properly. So he complains about seashells on the seashore. What does it actually mean? And then we have the left-leaning Guardian explaining it to you. What does it really mean? So see, they're doing the definition. You see, and that means we've already lost. This is how we keep losing. This guy says that means murder. I've looked at the 8647, and what that means is that you want to murder Mr. Donald Trump. And anybody who puts them four numbers together means you want to murder the president, and you need to be arrested immediately and tried for aggravated assault, aggravated murder, and a conspiracy to kill the president. That's what he thinks those numbers mean, and you're already too late. It's over. It's over because he gets to react. If you react, the people who explain, like the Guardian here, who's going to try to explain, it's already too late. The people already got the message. His followers don't read this and don't know what it really means. This is the theme that I've been going on for the past couple of weeks. If you've been watching regularly, you'll know that I keep telling you they don't know what the words mean. This guy doesn't know what 8647 means, and he doesn't care if he knows what it means. He doesn't need you to know what it means. He will simply tell you how to feel about it. And then the Guardian will explain to you what it means. We explain what it really stands for, but it doesn't matter. You and I and the intelligent people who think about definitions and think about our thoughts, people with introspection, will determine that it isn't actually a threat and will go to jail for typing things into a chat. They'll throw me in jail for these 4 numbers in a row. And they don't care. They don't give a damn about the definitions. They don't give a damn about what the numbers mean. They don't give a damn about what the words mean. They just want to hurt the people that disagree with them. I will disagree with them, and then they will hurt me for it. You will disagree with them, and they will hurt you for it. The Guardian will disagree with them, and then they will hurt the Guardian. This is all conservatism is. That's all it's been. That's all it's going to be for the foreseeable future. They're not a oppositional political party. They're not a political party. They're just people who hate. They're just people who banded together through mutual dislike. They all hate the same thing, and in hating it out loud, they notice all the other people that hate that same thing until they have banded together. They are a band of haters. They are a collection of dislikers. That is all they've ever been. And so when this guy says we dislike the thing, they all vote for him. Doesn't matter what it means. Doesn't matter what the definition is. He just knows that they hate it. So if there are conservatives watching, there was one in YouTube chat earlier, you are being tricked. You're being misled. You're being led down a pointless, unnecessary path that leads to your own destruction. This isn't how you structure a society. You can't build an entire society on just hating certain numbers and throwing all the people who disagree with you into a jail. Doesn't work. Doesn't function. At some point, this guy will disagree with something else, and if he's in power, the people underneath him will simply agree with it. Be smarter, is what I'm telling you. Don't let them trick you. If you're a conservative and you're upset with the things that I'm saying, be smarter. Honestly. Why is this guy tricking you? Why are you letting him trick you? I want you to be smarter. I want you to have intelligent arguments to bring at me. There are failures of the policies of the left. I want you to notice those and bring me a better idea. But you won't. You can't. You literally can't. I don't think anybody can. And if you want to prove me wrong, do so. Come up with a better plan. Come up with a better idea. Prove through fact and logic the failures of the left. I implore you. But you can't. Because you're busy proving that 8647 means murdering Donald Trump. Now, do the fuck Joe Biden stickers that I saw mean you want to have sex with Joe Biden? Is that what that means? I saw literally yesterday a fuck Joe Biden sticker on the back of a truck. Is that person threatening sexual assault against Joe Biden? Under your logic, it does. But that is just me pointing out the hypocrisy again. I did it a few minutes ago. We saw that the hypocrisy doesn't matter. Pointing out the hypocrisy doesn't matter. I can point out all the fuck Joe Biden stickers and say that means that they want to rape Joe Biden, but they don't care. They don't mind the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is fun. They love saying one thing and then saying the opposite and then pissing off the libs. They like it. It's enjoyable to them. They love doing it, and they're going to do it again tomorrow. I think there's here we go. So yeah, the people who wear this shirt will tell you 8646 does not mean murder, but 8647 does. They don't care. And here's the ultimate thing. I found 2760 Shellgate Circle. This is their home. This is their base of operations. If you just type that into Google, you type in Shellgate, and this is what pops up. It's a $1.5 million home, and it is the center of this is where they're running the conspiracy out of. Close all those links. Now, if you're watching, hop in the chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Post 8647 everywhere that you can so that you can be a rebel. Have the robot speak it out loud. But if you do just the numbers, I wonder if you put spaces.
8647.
There we go. If you do it all in a row. She says 8,000.
8,647.
So you got to put spaces. So make sure you're putting your spaces in there for the robots to recognize what it is. Speaking of horrible and unbearable, you live in a capitalist hellscape. You know that. I know that. Here is some more capitalist hellscape. Kristi Noem wants migrants to compete.
The governor of Colorado just signed HB 25-1312 into law. It is now illegal to dead name, misgender, or target a trans person in our state. Power to people.
Good job. I think illegal to dead name or misgender, or is it actually illegal? I'm going to look that up. I don't want it to be illegal. I want it to be culturally inappropriate. I want it to be as bad as saying certain words. I want it to be treated as hate crime, but hate crimes are illegal. So maybe he's made it into a hate crime. I think this is a good thing. Trans rights, trans liberation is a good idea. HB 25-1312. So I'm going to look at that. $13.12. Let's read. Legal protections for transgender individuals concerning legal protections. Oh, it's a legal protections. Okay, good. The bill provides that when making child custody decisions determining the best interest of the child for purposes of parenting at time, court shall consider dead naming, misgendering, and threatening to publish material related to an individual's gender affirming health care services as a type of coercive control. So that's good. This is good. It's not simply, Steve, I love you. But if you explain it that way to a fucking conservative, they're going to shit their pants and they're going to start shooting. Illegal to dead name, misgender, or target a trans person in our state. And you're right. And if we simplify it down to that, they will be upset about it. They're going to call this fucking fascism. The conservatives are stupid. They don't know what's going on. They're going to scream bloody murder about this. But what it actually is right here, and we like it. In the best interest of a child for purposes of parenting, a court shall consider dead naming, misgendering, or threatening to publish material related to an individual's gender-affirming healthcare services as a type of coercive control. So this is probably because conservative dads were getting divorced from their wives and went to the court and said, they're turning my son into a girl. They're making my son into a girl. You can't give my liberal wife custody of this child. They're turning Billy into Sarah, and that dead naming is now considered coercive and a bad thing for the courts, and the courts can pay attention to that and say, hey, you can't do that. This is good. This gives this is a good law. I like it. I'm glad. Be prepared, however, for Donald Trump to completely misunderstand what any of that means. He doesn't know what any of that means, and he's going to scream bloody murder on X. Probably already is. They're turning our boys into girls. They're chopping penises off. They're killing people. Trans nonsense. Trans is bullshit. He's going to complain about that, and the people who don't know these definitions, the conservatives who will not read this, will believe him. And that is our problem. That is the issue that we keep coming back to over and over and over and over again. Conservatives are anti-reality. They are against the rules and the reality and the world we live in, and they invent their own. They just imagine their own reality and then force you to deal with it. They imagine 300,000 missing children. They imagined it. It's not real. And they tell you that you can't vote for Hillary because of it. They imagine atheist blood orgies of for adrenochrome. They imagine it. And they tell you it's real. They imagine Jesus and tell you it's real
Loving
too.
was one of the victims of the Club Q shooting.
Okay, that's cool. I'm glad we got a law named after her. Them. So I'm glad that's a thing. This is exactly what we ought to be doing. Making intelligent laws that make the world better. Dems rarely do that. The state Dems are usually a bit better about it. The national Dems are pretty fucking lame. You can't become a national Dem and do stuff. You don't get to Chuck Schumer's level of political power by doing stuff. Ugh, gross. You get to his level of political power by bringing money in, doing nothing, for accepting the neo-lib idea that the capitalism is all that matters, and we're just going to do capitalism with a softer touch. That is how you get to where Chuck Schumer is. But yeah, state Dems, much better. Because they actually care. They actually do the things that they talk about. They're actually trying to help the people that are around them. Chuck Schumer isn't doing that. He's there to get money. And get lots and lots of union money and lots of corporate money. As much as he can get into the DNC. So this is good. I'm glad you brought that. Simply Steve, thank you for bringing that up. I had no idea. Good job. Boop. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. We're about to talk about Kristi Noem wants migrants to compete for citizenship on new reality show. A Homeland Security official told the Daily Beast that the show is in the early stages of vetting through approval, though approval has not been given or denied. It could be on its way. So American Idol for people trying to become immigrants. We're going to have them like jump through flaming hoops. We're going to have them fight to the death. We're going to have them compete in gladiatorial games. We're going to have them sing for us.
This comes on the heels of 62% of Colorado voters passing Amendment 79, which enshrine reproductive rights into our state constitution.
Which is awesome. Colorado is one of the more left-leaning states, and I'm glad that they're doing that stuff. That is fantastic. I'm glad that they are doing good things for the people. That is exactly what we want the government to do. We want the people to come together to vote for the things that makes their lives better. And I will keep an eye on those things because the right wing is about to shit their pants over it. Donald Trump is going to scream bloody murder and misunderstand every bit of it. So we have to let them know, hey, stop misunderstanding things. Donnie won't know. Donnie doesn't know is my new catchphrase because he doesn't know what any of this means. He's going to hate it. And he's going to tell his followers to hate it. And his MAGA faithful are going to hate it. And they won't even know why. They won't even know why. It won't matter. We're in a war of feelings versus reality. And they're on the feeling side. They really are. Dress up Barbie here. Immigration Barbie. With her cool, look at her.
This
here.
Is fucking dystopian. I hope no one signs up.
I'm going to say something that you are not going to comprehend. You're not here with me. I'm ahead of the curve on this one. I want everyone to sign up. Now, is it dystopian? Yes. Let me get to it. Let's keep reading, and then I will tell you why we can flip this on them. We don't just need to say, hey, this is bad, stop doing it. We need to take it over. Follow me. That's a teaser. So here is Immigration Barbie in one of her many dress-up outfits. One of her very cool, very normal, like jeans, t-shirt, tactical vest, fucking night vision goggles. This is border Barbie. Disgusting. She's a fucking clown. She doesn't know that she is for entertainment. She is there not to do a job, but to give the people a feeling about entertainment. She's there for entertainment feelings. That's why she's doing the show, for people to feel entertained. Kristi Noem reportedly wants the U.S. citizenship process to play out in front of the cameras. The Department of Homeland Security has been working with writer and producer Rob Warsoff to pitch a reality TV show titled The American, where immigrants will compete in a string of challenges across the country for the honor of fast-tracking their way into U.S. citizenship. Citing a copy of Warstop's 35-page program pitch, the Daily Mail reported that the Canadian-born producer aims to celebrate what it means to be an American and have a national conversation about what it means to be American through the eyes of people who want it most. Warstop is the best known for producing A&E reality show Duck Dynasty. The Department of Homeland Security receives hundreds of television show pitches a year. Really? She said in a statement. I don't think that's true. Each proposal undergoes a thorough vetting process prior to denial or approval. I don't think that's true. How many Department of Homeland Security shows have you seen? I've never heard of such a thing. McLaughlin denied Noam's involvement in the project, though unnamed sources in the Daily Mail said the Homeland Security Secretary support and wants it to proceed. So, here she is in another costume, her next cosplay. What you see is, this is cosplay. Here she is a fireman Barbie. Do we have any more photos? Here she is as jet pilot Barbie. And the conservatives see this and love it. Dude, they lose their mind for this shit. They think that she's out there doing the job. This is how politics is supposed to work. You're supposed to put on a pair of headphones and fly a jet. That's what they want their government to do. They want you to go and put on a firefighting outfit and shoot a hose for 7 seconds. They want you to put on the tactical vest and go out there because it makes them feel good. Do we have any others? No, she's there. That's the same thing. Okay. I'm sure we can find some other photos of her playing dress ups. But is it dystopian and disgusting? Yes. Now, what we do, here's the evil, insidious plan. 1, you fire the guy who's in charge of it, and you get some left-leaning Hollywood liberals in charge of this project. You get fuck it, dude, seriously? Listen. Fuck, I forgot his name. He played Batman one time. George Clooney. You get George Clooney to take over the project. She won't be able to say no. She won't be able to say no. She's not smart enough. You attach George Clooney to it. George Clooney produces this fucking thing. Right? Follow me here. Waldo, why would he do that? Because he gets the most sympathetic, everyday, normal immigrants into this. They will be normal-looking people. They won't look like Machete, okay? They're not going to look like Machete, who driving on Harleys and chopping people's heads off at 70 miles an hour. They're not going to look like gang members. They're not going to have teardrop tattoos. They're not going to have knuckle tattoos. They're just going to be everyday, normal people. George Clooney will see to that. Then we ramp it up. Have you ever watched one of those shitty reality shows? I call it the Crybaby Show. My old lady watches America Has Talent. I'm not going to call it America's Got Talent because that's grammatically incorrect. That's grammar, the bad grammar. America's Got Talent. Your English teacher would cross out the got and say America Has Talent. That's the proper way to put the phrase that sentence. So America Has Talent. If you watch it at the beginning, it's a freak show. I dig it. We're going to skip that part. We're just going to go to the good part. Around the middle of America Has Talent, you see that you fall in love with the people on the screen. You feel for them. You have feelings toward them. You want good things for them. You have favorites. And when those favorites are gone, you're sad.
But for some people, the freak show is the best part.
I agree, Shinzinto. I know what you're saying. The freak show is the best part. That's my favorite part of watching that stupid show. But I generally kind of check out and just play on my phone after the freak show is over. But we don't want that for the immigrants. We want the immigrants to come across as humans, as not freak shows, as sympathetic human beings with feelings and drama. So now the drama and the feelings, and then the normies watching the show who don't pay attention to politics, the swing voters in the middle, they don't watch shit. They watch The Masked Singer, they watch football, they go to bed, and then they grill on Sundays. They don't know who Border Barbie is. They don't know who Kristi Noem is. They barely comprehend who Trump is. They saw him on TV one time, and so they voted for him. They don't know what its policies are. They don't know what the numbers mean. They don't know any of this shit. They don't know what cosplay means. They don't know why it's fun, why it's insulting and disgusting to put people on a TV show like this. They don't know. But what they do know is how they feel. They feel for these people. They feel like those are good people who deserve good things. They don't deserve to be shipped to an El Salvadoran gulag. They don't deserve to be sent south of the border to suffer. If George Clooney, and I'm reaching out to you, sir. I don't know you. I'm a pissant streamer with 5 viewers. But if you took this on, they wouldn't turn you down. Donald Trump would see it as a gigantic win. He knows your name. I know he does. He would see this as you capitulating to him. Then you flip it. You judo flip it and turn it into the most left-leaning fucking thing the world has ever seen. Talk about the humanity of these people, how good they are, how hard they work, how all the horrible injustices of the country they came from are, and how hard they worked to get here. Talk about the 3,000 miles that this woman had to walk while carrying 3 children to get here. And the people in middle America will feel good about it. The trick that right-wing media has played on us is to lie to us about how terrible and nightmarish and scary these people are. And middle America bought it. Middle America, and the Dems included, ate that shit up. Joe Biden deported shitloads of people. Obama deported shitloads of people. Did they do that because they wanted to? No. They did that because middle America told them to. And if middle America saw that they are humans, not scary monsters, not machetes with teardrop tattoos who are going to ride motorcycles up and down the street and murder them, if they saw the immigrants as people, they would start to treat them like people. So that's what we need to do. Stop demonizing them. Stop letting right-wing media convince everybody that they're monsters who need to be kicked out and or murdered on the way out. Stop letting Stephen Miller be in charge of the narrative. Stop letting them dictate how we feel. George Clooney or some other big name producer. You need some big left-leaning person who could not be denied this television show. I would compare it to Will and Grace, not a show that I watched, but a lot of middle America was terrified of gay people until they watched Will and Grace, and they realized they're just people. They're not some sort of alien monster that needs to be chased out of town. They're not some sort of terrifying thing that needs to be destroyed. They're just people. We can do that for the immigrants. We can do that if we act now. If we leave Kristi Noem and this McLaughlin guy in charge, they will turn it into a fucking freak show. They will turn it into a freak show. They will turn it into, they will not bring anybody who is a human, and they will cut the footage to make them foreign and weird and outsiders. Don't let them do that. We need to judo flip this whole thing, take it over. That's why I'm saying I'm ahead of the curve on this one. Is it disgusting and dystopian? Yes. But if you remember the Hunger Games, the people liked the poor girl towards the end. Yes, she was a gorgeous white girl, which is definitely in her favor. But they liked her towards the end. And then they had a revolution because of it. I'm not saying that this is the same thing. It's similar somewhat. There's a Hunger Games element to these people trying to get citizenship and be part of the regular society rather than the bottom rung of society. But the Hunger Games ended with the poor girl on top. The people rebelled against the evil government that was controlling them. We could do the same. Oh, hey, here we go. What is this? This is DHS is in the beginning stage of vetting a process for immigrant reality TV show. He's suggesting that nobody who loses on the show. It's ridiculous to even suggest otherwise. These are all people who are likely to become future Americans. They are all people with a place in line. They are all people that are good candidates. I'm not punching down on anyone, he says, after somebody complained about him. I'm offering somebody the opportunity to jump to the front of the line and nobody else loses. In fact, everybody else in line will be humanized and will get to know their face and their story and will love them, and maybe they'll get a job out of it, or maybe they'll get other opportunities out of it. So he might be a piece of shit. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe he is going to turn into a freak show. I'm not sure, but we replace him. If he really is, if this is his secret plan, then he'll step aside for George Clooney to run the whole thing. Oh, hey, here we go. Here's some more bad news. This is incredibly
They
stupid.
aren't rounded up from the back door.
Yeah, I know, and that is part of what. So yeah, if they aren't rounded up at the back door, and that's why ICE wants things to go the way they're going. There was a.
It's like self-reporting.
Yeah, self-reporting. There was a Supreme Court argument the other day. I watched all 2 or 3 hours of it or something like that. And we could talk about that next, because that's what I would talk about next. Close this. Let's Google Supreme Court, because it was about immigration. It wasn't about immigration. It was about the fact that lawyers can't. You know what? I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to wait until it's actually decided. So at the moment, here's where it stands with the Supreme Court. They heard arguments from a liar that supports the Donald Trump's lawyer, his liar lawyer, said that it's unlawful for one federal judge to stop the president and his executive order. The president puts out an executive order. The judge says, that's unconstitutional. That's illegal. Stop it completely. Donald Trump hates that, and he says it's not legal. It is legal, however, when the judges do that for abortion pills like mifepristone. Mifepristone was a thing that one judge said is illegal and is not allowed, and you're not allowed to mail it, and you're not allowed to send it through the states, and it's just stopped entirely. It was a big deal a year ago when it happened, and that's fine. But one judge telling Donald Trump he can't have what he wants is illegal and unconstitutional. When one judge stops the liberals, that's fine. When one judge stops Donald Trump, that's illegal. But again, hypocrisy. Pointing it out doesn't affect them. They don't care. They're immune to pointing out their hypocrisy. And so that was what happened there. I didn't get any links together because it's like 2 hours of audio, and it's very boring. It's very big nerd shit. I don't know if 10 past 11 is here, but it is gigantic nerd shit. So they're suggesting that you can't stop the president and his executive orders through one judge. What can stop the executive order is after the president signs an executive order and then his government harms your rights and takes your rights away and deprives you and harms you, you're allowed to sue individually. You see, you're not allowed to all sue together. You're not allowed to all band together to do a class action suit. No, you can't do that either. Individually, you sue. So this is in response to birthright citizenship. What the Trump lawyer has suggested is that if a baby born on Monday, let's start Monday, Donnie signs an executive order that repeals the constitutional birthright citizenship or changes it some way. He does that on Monday. The baby born on Tuesday has to prove that its parents are citizens, or else that new baby isn't a citizen. Baby born on Tuesday to two Americans have to prove to the government that they are citizens and this baby is a citizen. That baby will be given papers. That baby will be given a birth certificate and a social security number. The baby born to two immigrants who aren't citizens is not a citizen. And if that harms the baby or those two immigrants, they have to individually sue the government. And the other 1,000 babies that are born that way, they all individually have to sue the government because their rights have been harmed. So then that's the self-reporting. If you do that, ICE will knock on your door and be like, hey, come with me. And then they will say that that baby is not a citizen, and they will ship that baby to El Salvador. And if you want to go, they'll probably send you too. If you want to fight them on it, you might be able to fight them on it, but they're going to take your children. They're going to take you from your children. They're going to take your children from you. That is the plan that the Trump government has for you. Now, the Supreme Court is waffling. They don't know whether to allow this. That's the insane part. They don't know if that's allowed. They're not entirely sure. 3 of them say that it is. 3 of them are on the fence, and 3 of them say that it isn't. 3 of them say that the liberals say, no, you can't do that. That's stupid. That's unconstitutional. And they're correct. The 3 in the middle, we don't know where they're going to go yet. But the 3 on the right are probably going to say, yeah, you're totally allowed to do that, because they don't care about what's real. They don't care about the law, what the law says. They just want conservatism and conservative things to happen, and they will bend over backwards to describe anything that happens as being fine as long as it hurts the right people. The 3 in the middle will be tricky, because what you want is
Alito and Thomas love to punch down.
They love that shit. So I think Kavanaugh is going to be on their side. Those are the 3 that I'm thinking. Gorsuch, he has a hard-on for Native Americans. I don't know why this is, but when it comes, if it looks like this is going to harm Native Americans, he actually might come out against it. This is something that I've noticed about him. He's got a boner for Native Americans. So if somebody explains to him, hey, listen, the Native Americans will be harmed by this. They won't be American citizens anymore. He might say, whoa, wait a minute. And he'll move to the left. This is just something that I've noticed about him, and other people have noticed about him as well. So that might be 4 people against. Now we just need one of the other 2 to come out against it. And it seems very, it would be limiting the power of the courts. So that's why I think John Roberts would come out against it. And Amy Covid Barrett, that is her name. Amy Covid Barrett she's wishy-washy. She could go either way. She really isn't the right-wing super soldier that they thought she was. Amy Covid Barrett is only a right-wing super soldier against abortion. She helped kill the Dobbs decision and all that fun stuff, and she helped kill. I think it was. She wants to kill the abortion rights, and she wants to probably harm the gay marriage rights. But other than that, she's actually all about that Constitution. So she could come out on the Constitution side this way, and it could be 6-3. So we won't know that until like next month, whether or not that's going to happen. So I'm letting you know that's probably going to happen next month. When it happens, we'll talk about it. But it hasn't talked. We aren't going to talk about it right now, even though I've been talking about it for the last 10 minutes. We'll wait for the actual decision to come out, and it could change the rules of the entire game. I'm still talking about it. If they say that one specific judge can't stop all the rules, a lot of shit goes real fucking wild real fast. Donnie will start popping out executive orders left and right, constantly, wildly, way more than he's already done, faster than he's already done. Stephen Miller will start deporting people breakneck speed. I mean, fast. And if those people want to say you harmed our constitutional rights, they can't. They're gone. Abrego Garcia, you know him. If he wants to say you harmed my rights, he'll have to do it from the inside of a gulag. There aren't any lawyers there. There's not any phones. It's real hard to get a court date when you're in the El Salvador gulag. Stephen Miller will just start tossing people left and right. They will round them up. ICE will just grab motherfuckers and throw them away. Throw them out anywhere. It doesn't matter. And if those motherfuckers want to argue with him, they will have to show up at a court. They'll have to sue the government itself. Imagine that. You're walking down the street. They black bag you. They throw you into the back of a van. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if you're being kidnapped. They drop you in a country you've never been to before. You were born in Venezuela. Well, guess what? They dropped you off in Chile. What are you going to do? You going to sue the government? You don't even know where you are right now. And if they actually throw you into a gulag, a prison, you're even less. You have even less freedom. You don't have the ability to call a lawyer. You don't have the ability to draft up a lawsuit against the government. That is what they will do, and the people will be furious and piss and moan, but they'll get their shit done. The conservatives will get what they want, which is the giant purge, and the courts won't be able to stop them. So look forward to that next month, I suppose. We can all look forward to that. And since we're on the topic, there he is, Stephen Miller, the Nazi. The Democrat Party does not believe in citizenship or nationhood. If a foreign tourist comes to a baby mill motel, delivers a child, and then flies home, Democrats say that child is just as American as the boy at Normandy. Okay. There is so much wrong with this sentence. First of all, the Constitution says that if the baby born at the baby mill motel, what is a baby mill motel? He invented this. He thinks there are baby mill motels. He invented it out of nowhere, out of his crazy, hateful, xenophobic poison brain. Stephen Miller has imagined a baby mill motel where you fly into the country, deliver a baby into some sort of motel, and then fly away, and that makes them a citizen. He has invented this. There is no such thing. He has invented an entire fiction and needs you to be afraid of the fiction. Conservatives, he is lying his ass off to you. And if you accept it, that's because you want to accept it. Baby mill motels. What in the hell is a baby mill motel? I've been to motels. They don't want you to get delivering babies in there, man. They don't. So he invents this scary sounding thing of a baby mill motel that you're delivering children into. And that, I mean, you'd have to do the paperwork. Steve, listen, man, my guy, you'd have to go through the paperwork. There is paperwork involved. When children are born, you apply for a birth certificate. You fill out the names of the parents, the children, where they were born, all that fun stuff. And then you turn it into the government, and the government double checks with them and makes sure that it's all right, and then gives you a birth certificate. That's not happening at the baby mill motel that you just invented. And it's not happening in your scenario. It's entirely possible to have children and not let anyone know. I mean, that's a very weird and rare thing to do. But you'd have to get the citizenship stuff, you have to prove it by birth records and hospital records. And I assume the baby mill motel is sending photos to people or the paperwork of some sort. This is insane. You're a crazy person, Stephen Miller. You're a lunatic. Then flies home. Democrats say that this child is just as American as the boys at Normandy. The Constitution says that child is an American. Stephen Miller, the Constitution says that's an American. He loves the Constitution. He talks about it all the time, and he loves it so much that he will destroy it to save it because he imagines. The Constitution that Stephen Miller imagines exists doesn't exist. The Constitution exists. Those are words written down, and we base all our laws off of it. But the Constitution that exists inside Stephen Miller's head is insane. He has invented his own. He invented the baby mills. He invented a new Constitution, and he needs you to get on board with it. He doesn't live on the same planet as you or me. He lives in his own imagination. He lives in a world that he has constructed that is best for him. And if you think it's going to be best for you too, you should just get on board.
Nick Cage had to steal the Constitution to save it.
Exactly. That was a fictional story. I don't think he knows that. He thinks that all the fictions that he imagines are real. He is delusional. And, so let's continue. As American as the boys at Normandy. Now, when I read this, I said, Normandy? That was the 1940s, okay? Means that they were probably born about the 1920s. You know what was happening in the 1920s? Immigrants were coming to America. Lots and lots and lots of the people at Normandy were children of immigrants. But he doesn't know that. He doesn't imagine that. He imagines that everybody at Normandy was as pale and white as me and him. And they were all blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and they were all charging up Normandy, and they were all born in America, and all the parents were born in America, and they're all of American descent. Steve, the white people in America came from England and Ireland and Scotland and all kinds of foreign countries. But he doesn't think about that. He can't contemplate that idea that all the white people in America came from somewhere else. The only people native to America are the Native Americans, and there are very few of them because we murdered them all. He can't contemplate that. He can't think about that. He doesn't want to think about that, okay? And damn you for explaining it to him. Damn you for suggesting that his ancestry was from England. I assume that's what it is. His name is Stephen Miller, so it's probably English. Damn you for pointing that out. England is not America. So, and then I'm going to scroll up a little bit for a very important person, Bradley Balco, who said 500,000 Mexican Americans served in the U.S. Armed Forces in World War II, as did millions of first and second generation immigrants. 109,000 non-citizens. Mexican immigrant Macario Garcia won the Medal of Honor in Normandy. When he returned to the United States, he was arrested for trying to eat at a segregated restaurant because he's a goddamn hero and Stephen Miller is a Nazi and doesn't know it. He cannot comprehend these ideas. He is so blinded by his racism that he doesn't know what he's saying. He is so blind by bigotry that he will destroy our country. He will destroy our Constitution. He will destroy the Constitution to protect the imaginary Constitution that's in his head. He will destroy your country to build the imaginary country that's in his head. He will sacrifice you to make himself more powerful, to build the imaginary bigotry country that's in his head. He is an ideologue. He is a believer. He is a fascist, obviously, but because blood and soil. He cares about the blood of the people on this soil. He wants only the people with the correct blood to be in this country. He's a fascist, plain and simple, and every single day he whispers lies into the ear of the American president. And the president repeats them because he's too stupid to know that it's a lie. He's too detached from reality to know that Stephen Miller is poisoning his brain. He is already poisoned already. Stephen Miller is only making it worse. This Nazi is whispering evil lies into your president's ears. And the president believes them because he wants to. He thinks that it's true because it makes him feel good. And Stephen Miller can't know. He doesn't want to think about these things. This is a very conservative thing to do, to ignore reality, to ignore the facts that you don't want to think about. This happened recently with Miss Rachel as well. So I'm going to talk about that just for a minute. Miss Rachel, she does kid stuff. Let's see. So, conservatives don't like to think the things that they don't want to think. This is an entirely human thing to do, I recognize. I don't want to think, and neither do you, about the Pope taking a dump. It's gross. I don't want to think about it. We know he does. We know the Pope poops every day, or maybe every other day. He's old. I don't want to think about it. You don't want to think about it. But it happens. Somebody's thinking about it. He's thinking about it.
Waldop 3 Pika.
I know, shocked. We don't want to think about our own mother sucking a dick, but we know she has, right? You don't want to think about that. That's a normal human thing that you want to avoid. We don't want to think about that. I know it's true, but I'm going to put that out of my mind. Conservatives can't do that. They have very little control over their own brains, over their own minds. They can't control that. So when you point out the fact that all of these immigrants fought for America and a Mexican immigrant won the Medal of Honor at Normandy, they can't not think about it. So they avoid it. So they don't learn things. They don't learn. Stephen Miller never learned this because then he would have to ignore it. And it's difficult for him to control his brain. He can't control his brain. His brain says bigotry and he can't stop it. Now, you could learn stuff and then in learning, make yourself smarter, and then you'll be able to control your thoughts. But he doesn't want to do that. That's not good. That's not helping his message. So you see this happen to conservatives when they get mad about Miss Rachel. So this is a lovely lady who teaches her children to be nice, but she gets in trouble because on her normal human Instagram and stuff like that, she talks about how it's fine to be gay. The backlash against children's YouTuber, Miss Rachel, explained. The preschool teacher turned content creator is an advocate for all families. Conservatives are mad about it. Conservatives are mad that she says gay people are real and that gay people exist. She doesn't do it in the cartoons. She doesn't do it with the Muppets. She's not standing next to Elmo telling you to suck a dick. And that she's not doing that. But she is a human being. So then she goes on to the grown-up, I'm not saying adult because that would suggest that she's doing porn. That's not what we're talking about. She goes to normal Twitter with humans and says, gay people are real and you should stop being bigoted towards them. Humans exist. Stop being bigoted towards them. She says that Gaza is being genocided right now, which I also say, but I don't teach children how to count to 4. So it's not such a big deal. If you do adult things while teaching children, conservatives hate you. They cannot separate those things in their mind. They cannot separate this woman and her photo. They can't separate it in their brain. Again, they don't have control over their thoughts. They don't have control over their minds. So when they see her teach a child to count to 4, and they have seen her say that Gaza is a genocide, they can't separate those two things. They are now combined forever. And so she's not allowed to teach children to count to 4. That is what the conservative brain does. The conservative brain is faulty, filled with holes, and very, very, very weak. I can separate her regular job, teaching children how to count, from her political positions, even if they were wrong. Even if she was a hardline Trumper, I wouldn't say that she's not allowed to teach children to count to 4. If she's putting Trumpism into counting, and she's locking Elmo up here for being the wrong color, I would be upset with her and say she shouldn't be teaching children this. But she's teaching children empathy. Conservatives hate empathy. They don't want that shit. And so they have to purity test all of their people. This happens in the South with school teachers. Shinsinto, you're kind of a school teacher, sort of like that. You're not a school teacher. You work in academics or something. If this happens in the South with kindergarten teachers, if the people in the South saw the kindergarten teacher at the bar getting drunk and trying to get laid, they would call for that person not to be a kindergarten teacher anymore. because you are your job. In the South, where the conservatives live, you are your job. You see, you are your job. Hank Hill introduces himself. Hi, I'm Hank Hill. I sell propane and propane accessories. That's how he introduces himself. He is his job. He is not allowed to use charcoal. This is a running gag.
They are told to refrain from those activities because of what you are saying.
Absolutely. The smart people tell them, hey, listen, don't get caught getting drunk and trying to get laid, because the people in the South will throw you out of your job, because you are your job. You're not allowed to teach children to count on Monday and then on Saturday go out to the club and have a good time. You're not allowed to do that because you are your job, and your job is teaching children. So that means you're not allowed to drink beer. I can separate the two things. Conservatives can't. They cannot control their own minds. They are not in control of their brains. They are not in control of their thoughts. If they see the kindergarten teacher drinking a beer, they will assume that she's drinking beer in front of the children. They can't separate the thing. That doesn't make any sense. But they can't not see it. They can't stop thinking about the Pope taking it up. Which is why they never talk about it, why they never think about it. And it's even worse with like adult stuff. If you saw your child's kindergarten teacher in the liquor store, the people in the South would be upset with that. If they accidentally bumped into the kindergarten teacher at the sex shop buying a dildo, they would call for her to be removed from her job. They know that she has a husband and she has sex, but they just don't think about it. They're not allowed to think about it, and she needs to keep it as fucking hidden as possible because the conservatives cannot handle it. They think that the kindergarten teacher should leave work, go home, play with Play-Doh, do some finger paints, and then get tucked in for a nap until she arrives again tomorrow at her job teaching children to count 5. They aren't in control of their brains. They aren't in control of their minds. And that is part of the issue that I have with them. That's why we need to educate them, hopefully, into being something better. I study the conservatives like Jane Goodall studied the chimps. And this is another thing that I have noticed about them. If I walked in, I was at the dildo store, right? As we all are sometimes at the dildo store. And I saw my son's kindergarten teacher. What would you do? What would I do? I would do the proper, appropriate thing, which is to pretend you don't know each other. That is the appropriate thing to do, is to pretend this is a complete stranger. I'd be like, after you, complete stranger who I've never met before. And then
HSWP.
Exactly. And then the kindergarten teacher would pick up on it and be like, after you, person I have never met before, and I don't have a meeting with next week to discuss your son's child finger painting. We would ignore each other. It's the right, proper, polite thing to do. I've never seen you. You've never seen me. We don't know each other. After you, complete stranger. The conservative brain wouldn't be able to wrap their head around that. They would not be able to separate those two things. They would immediately call for this kindergarten teacher to be removed from her post, from her job, because she bought a dildo. They wouldn't be able to not see it. They wouldn't be able to control themselves. This happens in church communities as well. That's why that's part of why church controls so many conservative lives, because if you look bad to the church, they all know, and they all know that you did the sin, you did the bad thing, you cheated on your wife. This happens at churches all the time. If you get caught cheating on your wife, the church group finds out, and then they shun you, and then you lose this community that you're a part of. This is how church keeps people in line. But it also creates a toxic situation where you hide these things. You hide your alcoholism instead of getting help. You hide the difficulty you're having within your home relationship, so you don't go get counseling, because that would be found out by the church group and they would look down upon you. You hide all the sexuality that you have so that they don't look down on you. You hide any of the problems that you have from these people so that they don't look down on you. This is a authoritarian society measure. It really is. If you have a problem, don't have a problem. Don't have problems, or else you're excluded from society. So don't have problems. But all humans have problems, and all humans have sexuality.
And they hide their own problems too.
They hide their own problems too. The judgy lady at the church has been cheated on, but she hid it so that no one else can judge her. And she will judge you for this happening. This happens at schools. This happens in the South. This happens among all conservative people. You have to present a perfect mask. And if that mask ever gets damaged, you are harmed by it, and it's painful. It really is. This is harmful for them. This is an authoritarian way to control people. That's why churches are control. That's why conservatism is obsessed with control. They know that the people are still going to do the things. They just want it to be secret. They want it to be hidden. They want 7 layers of obfuscation between you and a porn site so that you can, then they're all going to do it and they're all going to go there. But they need the people to think that they aren't doing it. Alex Jones very famously held his phone up. Where's my phone? I don't have my phone, but he was pointing at a thing and he had his phone in his hand and it had a URL on it. And when you follow that URL, it was trans porn. And he likes that. Of course he does. It's naughty. Okay. It's bad. And porn is more fun if it's naughty and you're not allowed to do it. The conservatives know this. They know that things that are naughty are more fun, but he has to keep it hidden, keep it secret. Or else if you're allowed to just go to the trans website and look at the trans people having sex with each other, it's not naughty anymore. It's less fun. This is the loophole of conservative thought in quotation marks. They feel like it's naughty to go there, and they need that feeling. They want that feeling, and they feel like the Miss Rachel or or how we got onto the subject, the people storming Normandy. They need to feel that Miss Rachel is perfect, or else they can't trust her. They need to feel like everybody who stormed Normandy was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white American apple pie boy, or else they feel like immigrants belong here. And they can't allow that. They cannot allow the idea that immigrants are allowed to be in America. It's true, but they don't want to feel it. It's a thought that they try to keep away from their thoughts. They don't want to think about that. They don't want to think about the Pope taking a dump. They don't want to think about the fact that Miss Rachel has sex with people. They don't want to think about that because that will poison, it will influence, it will make the world far more complicated. They cannot have complex thoughts. Conservatives hate complex thoughts. They don't want those things. They don't want to think about their mother having sex. They don't want to think about the fact that Miss Rachel probably owns a vibrator. They do not want to think about the fact that she has complicated values that they disagree with. They don't know how to deal with Miss Rachel having values that they don't agree with. They don't know how to deal with that, so they ignore it or they shun her. They do not know what to do if the president has different values than them. They can't comprehend it, so they shun them. They hate them. They can't deal with that kind of stuff. Complicated thoughts. Not for conservatives, man. They hate that shit. That is it for me today. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here. Thanks for keeping it alive. I have to go eat lunch. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go eat some lunch. Should I stream video games tomorrow? I don't think I should, but I might. If you want to tell me what's up, go on over to the Discord. Going over to the Discord. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Go to the YouTube page.
https://discord.gg/Jetrits8.
Going over to the YouTube page, I turn all of these streams into smaller, bite-sized little bits. You can watch all of them live on the live tab, or you can watch just the good bits that have been edited and turned into YouTube videos on the YouTube. Go on over there, press the thumbs up. Press the subscribe, smash the bell, spit some hatred in the comments, because the algorithm is powered by hate. So that'll help me out in the numbers anyway. Go there and just hate anybody, anything, anyway. Doesn't matter. As long as you're hating something, it'll bump my numbers up. So that's it for me today. I will be back on Wednesday, unless the Gestapo kick in my door and drag me off to the gulag. Goodbye.